Hola y bienvenidos a su programa Siempre in Action. I am your host, Lucila Izquierdo. Why am I speaking in Spanish and English? That's because this show is to target you, the bilingual audience, the audience that is out there and understands both the languages, both Spanish and English. This show is to link you to traditions and cultures. Este programa es para ponerte en contacto con tus culturas, con tus tradiciones, tu comunidad, con personas que estén en la farándula, personas conocidas o no conocidas. The show is to link you again to cultures and traditions, but also to talents, people that are already in the industry and people that are not well known. This show is a multi-mixture show. It's a variety show, and we'll see how you enjoy it. So, welcome to the premiere broadcast of Siempre in Action. And to start today, we're going to start with a little piece on Lodi, California. It's actually, I say Lodi, but I have an understanding it's actually called Lodi, California. Um, and we're also going to have little Joe on the show. So, welcome to the show, Siempre in Action. Lodi se encuentra cerca de la Interestatal 5 y tiene un arco de casi 100 años de viejo y se ha dado a conocer por su herencia y arquitectura. El arco originalmente fue creado en respuesta a la idea de Charlie Ray para comercializar el carnaval de uva que se lleva a cabo cada año. Lodi se encuentra en el área central de California, entre Sacramento y Stockton, con camino hacia la bahía, en la orilla del río Moklum. Con una población de aproximadamente más de 60,000 personas, Lodi obtuvo su nombre alrededor del año 1871 o 1872, pero no sin antes haber sido una parada de trenes llamada la estación Moklum. Ahora es una ciudad rodeada por viñedo y agricultura. Lodi es el corazón de las manzanas, peras, cerezas, uvas y nueces, etc. Para algunas personas, Lodi es reconocida como la capital de la uva. Las manzanas de Lodi son grandes y firmes y maduran en pocos días y tienen un periodo de conservación moderado. Sin embargo, la cereza crece en un periodo de 8 semanas, pero tiene una gran demanda que llega al nivel internacional. Mientras las manzanas y las cerezas necesitan madurar, la pera necesita ser cortada antes de que madure. Las nueces también crecen en diferentes áreas del Lodi. El árbol nogal crece aproximadamente 60 pies y empieza a producir después de 5 a 10 años, con una producción de hasta 60 costales de 30 a 40 libras de nuez. El árbol nogal produce mejor cada año alternativo y puede durar hasta 100 años. El árbol de la ciruela es sembrado del hueso de la ciruela, que se trasplanta cuando ya está de 20 pulgadas a una yarda de tamaño y crece aproximadamente unos 15 a 20 pies de altura. La ciruela empieza a dar fruto después de 3 a 4 años. Cuando el árbol se encuentra en producción, puede producir de 8 a 10 cajas de 50 libras. En el centro de Lodi se encuentra la Plaza de los Veteranos, con benefactores de oro, plata y bronce. La plaza honra a todos los veteranos, como dice la placa, no solamente a aquellos que ya fueron, sino también a los que vienen. Con más de sobre 20,000 familias, Lodi es una ciudad conocida como el Valle de Cosecha, responsable y amorosa. So how did you enjoy that piece on Lodi, California? Very interesting, huh? ¿Y quién iba a decir que ese arco ya tiene más de 100 años y que ese oso ha cambiado de direcciones? ¿Qué quiero decir con esto? Well, if you acknowledge that bear actually was facing south in one point, facing north in another point, and it's changed directions. Pero es interesante saber que ese oso, cuando cuando lo trajeron a ser parte de este arco, se lo habían robado y lo pusieron como parte del arco. Y después de ciertos años, cambiaron el oso y lo pintaron de oro. ¿Cuántas cosas han pasado? Mucha controversia, muchas cosas que han pasado con este arco, pero el arco sigue presente casi después de 100 años. Aparte de eso, quiero dejarles saber que las campanas que tienes, las 3 campanas que tiene, una de ellas fue utilizada como forma para contactar a los voluntarios, los voluntarios que iban, por ejemplo, a apagar un incendio, si había un incendio en la comunidad. Las campanas sonaban para que los voluntarios vinieran a ayudar. Interesante, ¿verdad? Yeah, of course. It's interesting. Well, now let's watch this piece on Little Joe that he gave us an interview back in August in his tour bus. Thank you, Little Joe. That was wonderful. We enjoyed it a lot, and you're one of the best. Let's go and check out that piece.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm here with Little Joe, and he's about to perform some a cappella for us and for the audience out there to give him a little taste of what it's all about.
You can make it if you try. You can make it if you try. We can make it if we try. Oh, yes, we can make it if we try. Sometimes you want to cry. Sometimes you want to lie. But we've got to live on till we die. Oh, yes, we can make it if we try.
How do you after so many years of being a performer and an artist, how do you maintain that status? How do you maintain the electricity in your show?
Music's for real, at least in my case. And the group of musicians that work with me are just really talented young guys. And I know people always hear me go, oi, 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 oi. And I couldn't do that if the music didn't make me feel that. So it keeps it, it always keeps it fresh for me. I've been blessed with some really great musicians that tour with me. And I love people, and this is one way that I can give them something that is lasting.
Hearing you perform tonight, I had the opportunity to hear the unique sounds that you have, and it seems to me like you've had you quite a few different genres of music blended into your sound. What would you classify yourself in as a genre style of music? What would because I hear Chicano music, I hear Mexican American, I hear Tex-Mex, Tejano. What do you classify your music as? And
You
can
know,
you classify it?
no, I have no answer for that. It's been the question that has been put to me for many years. The only thing I can say it's the way Little Joe does things. But I'm fortunate to have been born, raised, and still live in the little town where I come from, Temple, Texas. And as a kid, I was 11 years old before I left the complete, totally black neighborhood. First music I ever heard was music that was never played on the airwaves and on radio. The little neighborhood bars. So I grew up with the blues and all the wonderful music that I experienced as a kid. And my older brothers and sisters were, of course, real hip and were with the times and what was happening then. There was a big band era, the swing, the jazz, and all. So all of that is part of what I feel and I put into the mix in my music. But the base and bottom line is that my dad and his brothers and sisters, my uncles and aunts, all played instruments. Real party atmosphere family, and they were always uh, tocando, cantando. They played different instruments, and so that was always there for me. And since I'm not schooled or musically, uh, I never had anyone to tell me what to do or not to do, what the boundaries were or were not. So I just took the music and mixed it the way I felt it, and through the years, it's worked real well for me. I will tell you though, it took me 30 years to realize that I really couldn't sing well. But by then I was
You
selling
fooled
too many.
us.
By then I was selling too many records and a little too famous to quit. Here I am.
Well, congratulations. You sound great.
Well, thank you.
A little interesting thing that I found out. Could you tell us? And I would like for you to elaborate on it. Could you tell us a little bit about your first gig, your first performance?
I'm at the Alzheimer's level now. No, no. Um, my cousin David Coronado, who started the band The Latinaires, rounded up three other kids and himself. He was a couple of years older than I. We were like 13, 14 years old, and his dad is my dad's cousin, and they had bands. There were musicians that worked together. So David, my cousin, would chase us down, catch us, and bring us to rehearsal, and put this band together called David Coronado and the Latinaires. And it, he still is a very talented man, and he somehow persuaded me to play the guitar. I started out as a guitarist, but let me tell you, as a kid, I was a real shy, skinny little kid. When the day came that I needed to front the band and sing, my stomach, my legs, it was really, really difficult for me. What changed that, Santos, was that in 1954, my dad was busted for possession of 4 joints of marijuana. So in 55, he was sentenced to 4 years of incarceration. He was released 28 months later. But at that time, when I started my music career, I never claimed that I started in 55. I always say 1960 when I recorded under the name Little Joe and the Latinaires. But necessity forced me to do this because I grew up as a cotton picker, with the whole family would pick cotton, during the cotton season. And when my dad was catered off to prison, and all my older brothers and sisters were gone from the family. They were married, and my brothers in the service. So I just took charge of the family, and I became head of the house at 15. And
Wow.
I'm 7 of 13 kids, so you can understand how many kids we had at home. And I found a way that I would, I could supplement. Well, there was no income, but I could make some money. My first paying job was in Cameron, Texas, which is about 30 miles from where I live in Temple. And it was a sock hop That was 1955, and I got paid $5, and it just blew my mind because I would pick cotton, and they would pay us a penny a pound for picking cotton. So if you picked 300 pounds, you'd make $3 for that day, and I got paid $5 for playing my first show, and it's like I can't believe this. And I didn't always make $5. Sometimes I made 50 cents, but whatever I made, money went a long ways back then, and that's really what motivated and really again, necessity made me
Strive to that, go towards that goal.
exactly, yeah.
You hear that, musicians? Sock hops is where it's at.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit more about things you've had to overcome on your road to success? Any adversities you faced?
Oh, there's been many, and I'm sure there will continue to be more. As I said, I started school late because, that's the way it was back then. I was a very skinny, shy kid, as I said, and, I always wanted to be invisible, always back of the line, any line for anything. I never wanted to be in front. It was real difficult for me to overcome that. The music was one way for me to do that, and again, necessity. But a lot of, most of the people, most of my fans really don't know that I was a shy kid, and I'm still a shy person. But I've had to overcome that, And not only that, I never thought that I would last this long or that I would be working in the music industry as long as I've been very fortunate. The one thing that I could say I have going for myself is that I'm willing to try. I sing.
That's all you need.
I sang the song "You Can Make It If You Try," and my theme is "Make Education Your High." But if we don't try, we don't know. And like so many people and myself, we are sometimes afraid to fail. We're afraid not to succeed. But when you come, again, I was 7 of 13 kids. I was born in a 3-wall car garage, dirt floor. I was the first.
Wow.
I was the first kid from my
Come a long
family to
way.
be born in town because my family lived out in Bosque and the Boondocks, and they moved to Temple. I don't remember those days, of course. And 2 weeks after I was born, it got flooded where I lived in this little garage, and they rescued me. I almost drowned, and it's like little rats, I would imagine. And if I've overcome all those things, that's a hard beginning. There are so many great opportunities for our children today, and we are not urging or directing or insisting that they take advantage of all these great opportunities. And I always look back and think about those days. I didn't know that I was that poor. We were a happy family, My dad loved us, my mom. I didn't know that poor was something different from the rest of the world. I thought that's the way it was. But today, there are so many great opportunities that our kids are not taking advantage of. And I think if we search and look into ourselves, and that's something that I had to do along the way, and be honest about who we are, what we can and can't do, what we're willing to try, and find where the edge, how far we can go. I come from a time when there was a lot of racism, and there still is. It might be underground now in the United States, but I had to overcome a lot of racist people, a lot of segregation, discrimination, and all of that strengthened little Joe. And one of the things that I can say I'm proud of today, and I was not aware of this till my brother Johnny made me aware, is that I feel confident about who I am. I've, gone to the edge, and coming from where I do, I have nothing to lose. You cannot intimidate me in any way unless you want to beat me up, then but
Physically.
yeah, but otherwise, I come from hard times. I love challenges, and so I'm not intimidated that you'll sue me or that you'll do this, you'll do that. I'm not about that, I feel like a very free spirit when I play music, and I think that the people that come to listen to the Little Joe show feels that way the time of the performance, and there's a little lock that we have to release, unlock it ourselves, so that we can actually really feel what being a free spirit is about. Once that you achieve that feeling, you know, we can achieve, we can race to the occasion, we can achieve our goals, but individually it's not enough, Santos. We have to do this in a coordinated way, and we have to share this. And more important about my concerts and shows is the feeling that the people and I share, you know, because at the time when the show's on, they believe in themselves that we can do it. Si se puede.
Hmm.
Right then and there, anything that I ask them to do, they will do. Once I'm gone, I want them to remember. I ask them to vote. I ask them to drive safely, keep their kids in school, do the right thing, you know. And that little lock becomes unlocked. And this is something I found within me that I could use. And I have been fortunate to have been given many opportunities to use that.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
You've truly overcome a lot, and you are a role model and motivation for a lot of people. And I
Well,
thank
thank
you
you.
for that. And
Well, thank you.
what I have to ask is, what's in the future for Little Joe?
More of the same.
A lot more
If
of the
I can
same,
handle
hopefully.
it, yeah. But I'm still growing. You know, I'm still learning. I'm always open for learning, you know, from anyone, everyone. Musicians that come into the group, I listen and I learn, you know. There's a lot of wise people around us. You know, if we always talk and never listen, we miss out on a lot of important messages that are given to us and we don't take advantage of. But I'm growing. I had never stopped to think about my age. Come October, I'll be 64, and I can't believe that. I don't know how a 64 person.
It's young.
64. Well, I don't know how you're supposed to feel, but I know I have a lot to learn about life, and I can only do that if I listen to the young. Each generation brings their own protests, their own music, their own ideas, and if we're open to that, we can learn from them. But I think also that as you get older, you get wiser, and we can convey some wise consejos to some of these young, talented, energetic spirits that we can, as a community, overcome a lot of things that are obstacles for now. But times and things have changed. What I had to go through is not necessarily what young folks have to go through, what all adolescents, what all growing kids have to go through is facing themselves, facing the problems that are personal, individual, and within us, and not be afraid of them.
Mhm.
Because if we can remember that we're here for a purpose, we all have a God-given talent, and it may take you a little while to find it, but if you're not afraid to search for it, and let me tell you, Santos, there's goodness in everything. There's goodness in everything.
I agree with you there.
But you have to find it and you have to work for it. If we succumb and give up and just allow negative to take charge, you know, I've learned this. Don't waste time thinking, being negative. That's energy. Negative energy just drains you, you know. I used to be the kind of person I'd blow up, and for what? You waste time and energy.
Mm-hmm.
Work on the positive side. And my show, I could do this for 3-4 hours nonstop because it's positive. If I allowed negatives to come into what I do, I would be drained. I mean, that's hard work.
Well, Your Honor, your words are true and motivational, and they're honest, and that's very important. And I'd like to thank you for your time and for
my
your
pleasure.
interview. And setting, being a clear example to all the people out there that tomorrow it can be you.
And it should be.
Bueno, y hemos llegado al final de este programa. I hope you enjoyed it. I am your host, Lucila Izquierdo, and this was your show, Siempre in Action. You actually got to enjoy the premiere broadcast of Siempre in Action. And next week, we'll be bringing more different stuff, different places, and hey, different talents. You never know what you're going to get with Siempre in Action. So, see you next week. Para más información sobre este programa o si deseas obtener una copia, you can contact me, Lucila Izquierdo, at yaz_production@yahoo.com. Once again, that is yaz_production@yahoo.com.